Someone wants to know what you charge, and right before you answer, your whole brain empties out. So you just pick a number, and because you calculated it, it felt safe. And the second it leaves your mouth, you already know that it was too low. But here's what nobody says out loud. There is no perfect number. There is no formula, and anyone out here selling you that there is one isn't being honest. Now, by the end of this video, you'll have a number that you can say out loud without flinching, and a plan for when to raise it. We're going to kill the most expensive lie in pricing, the one that says a bigger number has to come with a whole pile of stuff. This is Ralph, and I want to welcome you to the channel where I teach coaches, creators, and entrepreneurs how to build businesses and wealth God's way. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. So you picked a safe number, $50 an hour, because it felt humble. Well, it isn't humble, and here's the chain that starts. The price is low, therefore the person paying it almost has nothing at stake. So they don't show up, they reschedule twice, and then after that they ghost you. They skip out on the homework, not because they're a bad person, but because $50 costs them nothing to walk away. And cheap clients are the hardest clients you'll ever have. And just calling them cheap would be intellectually dishonest because they paid exactly what you charged. So if we're being honest, that's more of a reflection on you as the coach. You can't blame everything on the client. But some of you watched somebody go through exactly that and you decided that you would never be that coach. So you went the other way. You saw someone online with a $10,000 coaching package and you decided, well, that's my number too. With no idea how they arrived at that number, and definitely not because you tested it, but because you simply refused to be the person charging $50. And then somebody says yes, which is usually a good thing, but not in this case. Because now someone's paid you expecting a major transformation and you have no process, you have no vantage point to even know what that transformation should look like. And that's not a great feeling. So one price came from really just being fearful and the other one from being greedy. Now, most new coaches, and we've all been new, they're not pricing coaching, they're pricing the sale. What's the most I can charge for this? And that's not the right question, especially if you have a service-based mindset. Instead, just keep it simple and make a decision. Test it in a real conversation and then adjust, because you'll be doing this with various aspects of your business for as long as you're in business. So take the weight off of yourself because the decision can be changed. You can price something today, learn something in your next 3 sales experiences, and then price it differently using the new information. And part of running your coaching business is collecting data, which, if you're a coach or a good one anyway, is exactly what you should be teaching your students to do. But to collect data, you need inputs. So here are the 3 things I consider before I land on a number. First, it's about the benefit to the client, and this is always first, and that's if you actually care about the transformation someone experiences. So what is the outcome worth to the person buying it in money, in time, or in relief? I mean, if you help someone land their first 3 clients or land them faster than they would have alone, that's not worth just 1 or 2 coaching sessions. You've just taught them something that they can use in perpetuity, and it could be worth tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands or more. And notice what you're really being paid for there. You are being paid for speed. Say they've been at it for a few months and it took 10 approaches to land 3 clients. They're realizing something is off, so they hire you, and now using your process, it takes only 5 approaches to land the same 3 clients, all in just 30 days. You've just delivered an extraordinary result. You've saved them time, you've saved them money, and you've changed the trajectory of their business. Now sit with that for a moment, because it runs against everything you've probably been taught. You've been taught that in order to charge more, you have to do more, include more, and it can't be quick or it'll look too easy. But it's the opposite. The faster you close the gap, the more you're worth, not less. But there is a guardrail. Your price should be a fraction of the value you deliver, not a multiple of it. And if you can't with a straight face make the case that they're going to get back far more than they handed you, then the number is too high. Number 2, does the price attract the kind of client you want to work with? Your price is a positioning signal, and if you're clear on who you serve, then your price should reflect that. Not because a number is right or wrong on its own, but because the number reads different. Not because a number is right or wrong on its own, but because a number reads differently depending on who's looking at it. So the question isn't what feels fair, it's what do people in your specific demographic already pay for quality advice and information. If you're too cheap, a serious buyer is probably going to get suspicious, because in her mind, low cost may signal low capability, inexperience, or fear. Serious people aren't always shopping for the lowest cost option. They're willing to pay for the most effective option, and that's by their definition, which they may never even say out loud. And you're going to hear from people who think you're expensive no matter what you charge. That's just part of the deal. This isn't a signal about your price, because some buyers focus on price and some focus on value. And price-focused ones would call you expensive even at half the number you quoted them. Those are the hardest clients to serve, and you already know how that goes. Just recognize it, quickly share your offer, invite them to reach out to you if they're interested, and move on. There's nothing else you can do about it, nor is it worth the time trying to arm wrestle someone into believing what you believe or accepting your value the way you describe it. Those are the hardest, most draining clients to serve, and you already know how that goes. So recognize it clearly, share your offer, invite them to reach out to you if they're interested, and move on. There's nothing else you can do. That's the real function of a price. It filters. A number that repels the wrong fit as efficiently as it attracts the right one is doing the proper job. So stop asking whether a price is too high and start asking whether it brings you the kind of client you've been called to serve and that you enjoy working with. Number 3, what does it cost you to deliver? This one looks at your own books, and it's one that many coaches like to skip. Remember, you're running a business, so don't be afraid to act like it. Whatever you charge isn't what you keep, so count the real cost of moving one client through your process. The calls, the prep before the calls, the notes afterwards, the voice notes and messages between sessions, the tools you pay for, any staff, the time you spend working when no one's around, and then take out taxes because that money wasn't yours to start with. Now, many coaches price off of the gross exclusively. They feel good about the big number, and then 3 months later, they realize that they've only cleared a third of what they thought they were going to clear. So run the number, take your price, divide it by the time it actually takes for you to serve the customer, and you'll know what you've built. And this is exactly where the extra stuff starts to turn on you. Every module, every bonus, every worksheet, everything bolted on is just something else you have to build, maintain, and support. And it doesn't raise the value. It raises your cost, and it slows the process down. So you have 2 moves: raise the price or shorten the path. Both work, but guessing does not. Proverbs 11:1 says that God hates a dishonest scale but delights in accurate weight. And we usually only apply that to the seller cheating the buyer, but it actually runs both ways, because a price that is dishonestly low is still a crooked weight, and the person it robs is you and your family, the people that are depending on you. 1 Timothy 5:18 makes it plain. The worker deserves his wages. If the work is real, then the wage isn't greed, it's math. So don't be afraid to charge what you deliver. Now, once you have a number, how you attach that number matters as much as the number itself, because the moment you price yourself per hour, you've just told the buyer and the world that what they're purchasing is your time, and your time shouldn't be for sale. The transformation is what should be for sale. So price the outcome and the container instead. Maybe it's 6 weeks, a specific result, calls, support in between, whatever it is, same work, but a completely different conversation, and it protects you, because when a client needs a 15-minute voice note on a Thursday, you're not doing free labor. You're simply delivering what they already bought, if that's what you promised in your offer. The key takeaway is to build the shortest path from situation to success. That's it. Nobody woke up this morning wanting more content, modules, or PDFs, because they're already drowning in it. We all are, if we're honest. Most of the information out there is free, it's everywhere, and we already have 100 videos saved that we'll probably never watch. What they want is for the problem to stop being the problem. They want to reach their goals. That's the entire purchase. And remember who's sitting in front of you. Perhaps it's somebody that's been stuck on this for years, maybe even decades. Years or decades of trying, quitting, restarting, and quietly wondering if something is wrong with them. And because you've done the right work, you create an offer that makes them feel like it's tailor-made for them, and you walk them through it in 6 weeks. Now, as you spend time working with clients, not only are they going to learn from you, but you're going to learn about your offer. So if there's something in your offer that you can remove and still get the client the result, then remove it. And that makes the offer better, which drives the value up, not down. And I'll hold myself to that publicly. The Calling to Cash Flow Challenge is 5 days, not 12 modules or a bonus vault or 40 hours of videos you'll never finish. It's 5 days, because that's how long it takes to move someone from the calling they've been sitting on to an offer with a price on it that they're ready to share publicly. And using the example I just shared, if I find out later that I can do it in 4 days or 3 days, then I'll do it in 4 or 3 days. And that will make it more valuable. I won't be cutting the price. I'll actually be increasing it because I'm getting you back to your life with the information you need to execute sooner. So go ahead and click the QR code or the link in the description. Now here's how to get past this hurdle if you're just getting started. You've got almost no proof, so how do you charge without the whole conversation feeling like a big bluff? Well, you don't do that. Number one, you don't pretend. You're always honest with people because your reputation is worth more than anything. You say, I'm taking on 5 founding clients, or 3, or 7, or 10, at say $500 because I want case studies and testimonials from this first group. And after that number, the price is going to go up from $500 to $2,500 or whatever it is you decide. So you disclose everything up front and you are transparent with people, and people will really appreciate that. Let's examine what this information does. It explains your pricing without you having to apologize for it. You're getting the data you can use to improve, you're getting testimonials to build credibility, and it gives the client a genuine reason to take action because they're getting a better rate. It creates urgency because you're telling the truth, and it builds your price increase into the offer. So the next increase is already announced and you never have to have that awkward conversation or apologize. You're not discounting, you're trading a lower price for a case study so both sides win, and that is an accurate weight. Now, despite everything I'm saying, remember that this is fluid. Even with all of this in mind, some of you will pick a number that's way too low and you'll feel it before the engagement ends. Some of you will pick one that's a stretch, and you'll know that before the engagement ends if you even get it off the ground. But don't get all worked up about it. Just make the adjustment and move on. Most decisions in life are incorrect in the fullness of time anyway, and that's true personally and professionally. Just keep moving. Neither one is a failure, and that's just what living life and running a business looks like. Your price is not a verdict on your value. It never was. It's a starting position, and a starting position is only a starting position when you start. So there's nothing to get all bent out of shape over. The only real failure is refusing to decide. So pick your number, run it through the 3 checks that I mentioned, say it out loud until your voice stops going up at the end like it's a question, and then go serve people. Listen, we've all been there, so based on experience, I know how this goes. You'll watch this video, you'll get fired up, you'll open a document and sit there for 40 minutes staring at a blank line trying to decide what number to use. Not because you don't understand this, but because deciding by yourself is the hardest part, especially the first time. And that's what the Calling to Cash Flow Challenge was built for. 5 days. You come in with a calling and a skill, and you leave with an offer and a price you can say without flinching, and a way to put it in front of people who need it. No mountain of modules, just the shortest, most honest path you can provide. Link is in the description, and I'd love to see you there. Now, I'd really appreciate it if you give this video a like, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I release content like this every week for coaches, creators, and entrepreneurs who want to learn how to build businesses and wealth God's way. So this is Ralph. Thank you very much for tuning in, and always remember that faith plus work equals success. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and God bless.